Here we go. We are one day away from Nebraska taking on Colorado at Memorial Stadium for one of the biggest games of the season. So in today's video, I'm going to give you my official game predictions. Who are some statistics leaders, the MVPs on offense and defense, and then, of course, who wins the game and by how much. So really quick, we have a lot to talk about. Point blank, if you were excited about tomorrow, because I know I am, hit that like button. And hey, if you're new to the channel or just a returning viewer, make sure to subscribe. I post daily Nebraska football content, and I'm not slowing down. So if you don't want to miss out on any of that, hit that subscribe button. It would help me out greatly. But without further ado, let's get into it, talking about my statistic and game predictions for Nebraska versus Colorado, Matt Rhule versus Coach Prime. So right off the bat, I want to plug something. I will be going live Friday night, so tonight, talking about this ball game and my final predictions, along with going live post game. I will be going live right when the final buzzer sounds to discuss what we saw, hopefully Nebraska victory, and everything else. So join me here on Wilson Inman Sports. Make sure to set your notifications. But with that being said, now let's get into it with my game predictions. So I'll give you 5 game predictions, what I think goes on, what do the statistics look like, who are some of the big players. Then I will give you my score prediction and my MVPs on offense and defense. So let's go to my first prediction in this ball game, and this is related to Colorado. I believe they come out of the gates firing. Say what you want about Deion Sanders, but he is one special hype man. He's going to get the Colorado Buffaloes ready to play. That's pregame speech is going to move mountains. He's going to have them feeding off the hatred, feeding off the booze at Memorial Stadium. And for that reason, I think Colorado gets the ball first. They drive down. Shedeur Sanders has a really good possession, and they start off the game 7-0. Now, will the rest of the game be that exact same story? It remains to be seen. We'll get into that. But my first prediction is Colorado strikes first, and some Nebraska fans get a little scared. Second prediction, Emmett Johnson has a breakout performance. Now, we saw in game 1, it was a true running back by committee situation where 4 running backs got real reps for the Huskers. But I believe Emmett Johnson is the most talented running back in that room. He played the best first UTEP, averaging about 9 yards per carry. For that reason, I think he runs for over 100 yards in the Colorado game with about a touchdown. And I think that it's still a running back by committee situation, but Matt Rhule said time and time again that if a guy's playing well, he's going to keep him out there. So Emmett Johnson, he will stay on the field for most of the ball game. I believe he breaks out to be perhaps our bell cow, or at least our leading running back for the rest of the year. So that's my second prediction in this ball game, especially against a bad run defense in Colorado. They did okay against North Dakota State. That's not going to hold up against a better offensive line and a better rushing attack. Third prediction in this ball game, Nebraska's defense forces 3 turnovers. Not 1, not 2, but 3 takeaways. So I talked about in the first drive, I think Shedeur has a field day. He really gets the arm warmed up. But Nebraska's defense, they're still figuring out that Colorado offense. After that first drive, they're going to be golden. And the thing that I really think takes over this ball game is Nebraska's defensive line, because that's a mismatch. Colorado's O-line has not seen a unit like that, especially their interior line. It's very, very weak. For that reason, I think we get to Shedeur multiple times. We force him to throw a couple bad passes. We get him on the ground. We have a strip fumble here or there. For that reason, I think Shedeur Sanders throws 2 picks, coming both in the second half, and then I think he has a forced fumble in the first half. So this D-line is going to take over the ball game, and that is going to be huge. Fourth prediction, Dylan Raiola has a national breakout game. Yes, he played good versus UTEP, but how many people were really watching a game versus a group of 5 opponent? Sure, a good amount of people, for sure, but it's not going to be like this Colorado ball game where almost every single person who watches college football, they will be tuned in on national television, on NBC. Okay, in front of the eyes of the country, Dylan Raiola, when the lights are the most bright, he is going to ball out. I have him at 250 yards, 2 touchdowns, passing for over 75 yards or 75 percentage in the air. So I think that Dylan Raiola is going to show everybody why he's next up, that he's going to be one of the best quarterbacks in all of college football. And we're talking about a Colorado secondary that struggled against North Dakota State. They gave up 22 completions out of 26 attempts. Dylan Raiola, he's going to be phenomenal, and I believe that he's just really going to take over this ball game against a Colorado secondary that honestly should be better. Last prediction before I get into my game prediction: the crowd is going to be a 12th man. It's going to be the loudest we've ever seen at Memorial Stadium. It's going to break some records. It's going to cause some havoc. Colorado is going to be taking timeouts when they shouldn't need to, and I'm looking forward to hearing it this Saturday. So, all right, those are my 5 game predictions. Colorado strikes first, 7-0. Emmett Johnson breaks out. This defense forces 3 turnovers. Dylan Raiola plays phenomenal when the lights are most bright. And last but not least, this 12th man Memorial Stadium crowd is going to be unlike anything we've ever seen before. So, with that being said, let's get into my actual score prediction and my MVPs on offense and defense. Listen, I'm scared about this game. I think Colorado's talented. I think that their wide receiver core is one of the best in the country. They have one of the best quarterbacks in the country. And I know that Deion Sanders, he's going to treat this like their Super Bowl, because that's exactly what they did last year. Okay, Deion Sanders got them hyped up. He had them fueling off the hatred, and they won. And they won handedly. But with that being said, there's one clear distinction between last year's Nebraska's team and this year's Nebraska's team: Dylan Raiola. Nebraska is going from one of the worst quarterbacks to one of the best quarterbacks in the country. You can't say the same about any other thing on Colorado's roster. They're not changing around too much. Yeah, maybe one unit on their team got a little better, but it didn't take a big leap like Nebraska's did. For that reason, Dylan Raiola takes over. This D-line takes over, but I do believe it's a close ball game. 28-20 is my final prediction. I'm going to stay true to my offseason prediction. I made that a couple weeks ago. The Huskers get it done in a close affair, but we are 2-0. We cannot complain, and I think that's going to really propel us for the rest of the season. So my offensive MVP is going to be Emmett Johnson. Like I said earlier, I think he really breaks out and really starts to dominate Colorado through the running game, because that's exactly what we want to do. We want to run it down their throat. Emmett Johnson will be that guy to do so. And then my defensive MVP is going to be Nash Hutmacher. So listen, this offensive line for Colorado, I'll give them credit. It's a little bit improved from last year, specifically at their tackle spots, but their interior spots on the guard and center positions, not good at all. For that reason, a zero technique like Nash is going to have a field day. He's going to force some pressure. He's going to get to the running back on the rare chances that they're actually going to rush the football, but it's mostly going to be a passing attack for the Buffaloes. But Nash is going to have a good day. He'll have a sack or two, and this defensive line, they're going to feast, and I'm expecting a victory tomorrow. So let me know down below. It is your time to give me your final score predictions. Let me know in the comment section. Hey, if you made it this far in the video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. And as always, folks, go be good, go Matt Rhule, and see you in the next one.